see that? No, hang on, didn't do that right. Let's try that again. Good afternoon, boys and girls, and welcome to, finally, episode 31 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming to you today after a bit of a long break, actually, on Facebook, because some of you will be aware that episode 30 was broken down into several parts, or several scenes, as we ended up calling them, and they went out on YouTube. Then I think it may have been about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I tried to do this episode here on Facebook, and then for various reasons I had to abort on the very day itself. But I think we are good to go, and we are about to start by smelling a perfume. But in the usual way, I just need to make sure that this is actually working. Facebook sprang a few surprises on me because I came in to set it up, and of course since the last time I'd done a Facebook broadcast, they've changed how you do Facebook Live, which was really helpful. But let me just make sure that, okay, it looks as though I'm live here, so that's good. I will say all my hellos and greetings in the usual way in a few minutes, so please keep messages coming. But we need to start by smelling a perfume, and I have been dying to open this one since the aborted attempt to do episode 31, and you can see I've been very, very good, and I haven't unsealed it. Oh, somebody's already spotted an Aqua di Parma. I'll get to your messages. I haven't unsealed it at all because I thought, no, I'm going to wait until the next Love at First Scent. And now all I want to do is rip this open. So, new from Guerlain. As you can see, it's some of you will be able to tell from the packaging. It's an addition to their, what do they call it now? The Absolutes of the Orient range, Absolut d'Orient. I think in the UK this is exclusive to Harrods, and you can probably just about see, can you see what it's called? It's called Cuir Intense, intense leather, and I think we should just smell it now. I can see loads of messages coming. I'm not ignoring them, okay? I just want to smell this, and then we will, and then I will start chatting to you, and we will get in the swing of things. And I have to say, I'm kind of already feeling a bit more comfortable about the fact that I can just ease my way into this episode and not have to worry about finishing in about 20 minutes' time. Should we pop that there? Can you still see that there? Here is the bottle. Brown? Brown is probably a brave choice for a bottle colour. What do we think? Okay. Let me label a blotter. Ooh, hang on before I wreck the set. This box here from Guerlain, by the way, is just to remind me to remind you that I've got a review of their debut collection on the blog. Okay, so Guerlain, here we go. After a hiatus. Okay, what's this going to be like? Always a stressful moment. We've had these Guerlain moments on these episodes before. Who knows what they're going to turn out to be like. Okay. Where should we put that? So actually, let's do it this way. Nope. Yes. Ooh, really good leather coming through so far. Wow. Okay. Intense is right to start with. I was actually thinking about the real meaning of the word intense yesterday on the way back from the cinema with Madame Persolaise. We went to see the Nuclear Denis film. What's it called? High Life, with Robert Pattinson, and we were just talking about how intense is the best way to describe Pattinson, because I don't think I find him particularly good looking, but he's definitely intense. So Robert Pattinson perfume. He's not Pattinson, is he? He's Pattinson. Okay. What this immediately hits me as is that it's a leather in the style of Tuscan leather and Canige 10, in the sense that it's got a sharp, rasping, almost astringent fruitiness at the top. You know how Canige 10 has quite an astringent sort of strawberry note at the top before it goes into the leathers. Tuscan leather does a similar sort of thing, but maybe with a raspberry note. This has got a similar sort of effect. I don't know what the fruit might be, but you know, it's perhaps as it develops I might be able to. I'm not thinking strawberry, but it's definitely, you know, when I say fruit in this case, it's definitely not some kind of sweet, sickly berry, but the fruits that work in these sorts of leather constructions are fruits that have some edge to them, some kind of bite to them, like strawberry, raspberry, maybe something peachy, apricot-like, and already it's going into the kind of leather that I always just cannot help but describe without using the word. What do I mean? Cannot help but, got myself in a semantic tangle there. What I mean is I'm always compelled to describe leathers like this with the word tangy. Maybe that's the effect of the fruitiness and going into the really, really dry effect of the tannery notes. But it immediately goes into that family of things like Cuir Intense, Tuscan leather. But it has got a sense of the East in it as well. Really good. I mean, this has got my name all over it. Madame Persolaise really loves the oud from this. I quite like it. I don't love it, but this might be the first one from this range that I like. And it's not very classically Guerlain, actually, in a way. I suppose this range isn't trying to be classically Guerlain. Okay, let's see how it develops. But before I read, I haven't got very much on this one, and I think most of what I have on it is pretty generic. So, drawing inspiration from the noble material that is leather, Guerlain's Cuir Intense Eau de Parfum is a timeless tribute. It does have a kind of timeless classic quality to it, actually, I would agree with that. From master perfumer Thierry Vasseur to its strength, softness and sensuality. Softness, maybe on skin. In its creation, powerful notes of wood and leather harmonise, giving way to the luminous osmanthus flower. Okay, shining a light upon its fruity apricot facets. Okay, so I guess they went for osmanthus, and I can see here they're saying that the top notes are osmanthus and ylang ylang. Okay. I mean, that has a fruity side to it as well, a kind of banana edge. White floral coming through? Maybe, yeah, now that the idea has been put in my head. Middle notes of leather and musk, middle notes of musk, and base notes of Virginia, cedarwood, sandalwood, and tobacco. Okay, which is kind of what you'd expect, again, from things like Tuscan leather. I mean, to me, Tuscan leather is as much a tobacco scent as it is a leather scent. But, so... To be objective, I suppose I'd have to say that this is somewhat derivative. Maybe we've had most of it before. Maybe not with that apricot top note. Maybe not with quite so much kick to it. I think this is what is making it different. It's a bit too dangerous to be. It's a bit too dangerous to be elegant somehow. I think this sort of tips over elegance. Okay, but having said all of that, I'm about to read my messages and greet you properly now to episode 31 of Love at First Scent, coming to you from Facebook. I was about to say YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm about to read all of your messages. Please don't forget that I respond to comments and questions even after the live broadcast. So if you are not watching this live, please feel free to ask a question. The video, all being well, technology permitting, will then also be transferred to YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, please feel free to leave a question there. Please send hearts and likes and all sorts of things my way, and subscribe to my channel, etc., etc. Please don't forget that a few hours after the initial broadcast, I post a comment with what I call a blotter update, just to let you know how the perfumes develop, because of course, as we know, we can't always judge perfumes on first sniff, and we need to find out how they develop, and we need to find out what they are like on skin. And I think I've probably said just about all of the things I'm going to say that I usually say as a preamble, except that today we will also have a classic scent, probably at about the half an hour mark, because this is a regular episode of Love at First Scent, none of this splitting up into scenes. Oh yes, there was one other thing I wanted to say. I'm going to do the next episode, episode 32, tomorrow. I would like to get one out of the way, so to speak, because this is the start of a very, very busy period of the year for me. Regular viewers, regular readers of the blog will know that things start getting quite hectic at the Persolaise household, and if after this weekend I probably won't be able to do another episode until about the end of June. So I thought, oh, it would probably be good if I could get 2 done. And there's lots to smell anyway. There is lots that I want to share with you. There's lots that I want to discover for myself. So tomorrow's episode will be on YouTube, and it will be 3 hours earlier. So it's going to be midday UK time, which makes it 7 a.m. New York time and 3 p.m. Dubai time on YouTube. So please tune in if you can, but even if you can't tune in, you could always watch it after the fact. Right, comments. What have I missed? How do I get them? What's going on? Why can't I? Right, let's just close this. Let's start again. How do I get the comments? Oh, come on, please show me the comments. Is this... No. Can somebody help me out and tell me? Ah, here we go. Okay, comments. Ashfaq started by saying, finally, hello. Yes, absolutely. I feel that way too. And greetings from Stockholm. The picture and sound are perfect today. Facebook. I think Facebook Live is better. I do have to say, I think technology-wise, Facebook Live is better. George says, love the reissue of Cypress. I swear I'm sure I've missed some comments. Have I missed some comments? Well, if there's something, I'm trying to read every single one now, okay? So if there's something I've missed, please repost it. George says, love the reissue of Cypress by Aqua di Parma. This one here, we may get round to it, or maybe tomorrow. Ashfaq says, brown, perhaps to denote the leather. With the Guerlain, yeah, I guess so, but I don't know, it's just not the most attractive colour for a bottle, is it? George says, indeed, it's a really lovely leather. Yeah, agreed so far. Like Dior's Cuir Intense. Yes, okay, yeah, I would go along with that. That's one of the discontinued ones, isn't it? That one had a more of a kind of handbag leather feel, didn't it? Although I did love that one. Ashfaq says, the Twilight bloke, and somebody's already reacted to that. Yes, the Twilight bloke. I have never seen Twilight. I've only ever seen him in quite serious, independent, alternative movies. High Life was very interesting, by the way. Almog says, I see Tom Ford. Yes, a new Tom Ford, a new Aqua from Tom Ford. We may get round to that as well. Peggy, hello. Is that sofa leather, car seat leather, or shoe leather? Most leather fragrances smell like new car seats to me. Does it have a horsey tang like Abbey Rouge? Okay, no. That's a nice specific question. Shoe polish. Yeah, shoe. Nice, good quality shoe. Okay, happy now. Good question though. That's a helpful question to put me on the spot. George says more like a new sofa leather. Oh, okay, so we disagree. Sorry. Mind you, I don't think I've smelt a leather sofa for a while. Ashfaq says, I'm excited for you to test Aventus Cologne live, please. You're not going to believe this, Ashfaq, but I actually thought of you when I found out that Aventus, that Creed that brand have released an Aventus Cologne, and I thought, I wonder if I could get hold of a sample, because it's probably unlikely that they will be sending me a sample anytime soon. But let us see. If I can maybe get hold of a sample for the end of June, then we could have a live smelling of the Aventus Cologne. And what a fine moment that will be, I have no doubt. But I must retain an open mind, and it could, of course, be one of the best fragrances of the decade. And Almog says, lovely blazer you wear, by the way. I adore the colour. Oh, thank you very much. I'm wearing it as a blazer, but it's actually a shirt that I'm just wearing over a t-shirt. But thank you very much. I appreciate that comment. Okay, is that... Yes, I did say the brand, George. Thank you very much. Don't make me say it again. Okay. It is nice, I have to say, personally, it's nice doing an episode like this where, already at the 14-minute mark, I'm not thinking, oh, no, I've got to finish. So we have got off to a good start. Now, I would like to smell something else about which I am extremely excited, because nobody has yet said that. We've got a new Angel. Oh, now let me try and get to the comments as they're going. Joe says, has Cipresso di Toscana been reformulated? Anyone? Pass, I don't know. I haven't unsealed this one yet, and I'm not going to lie. My knowledge of the original, which is from about 2005 or thereabouts, is, that's sort of lost in the mists of time, what I may or may not have known about that. Mark says, hi, I'll have to catch up later. Hello from sunny Morden. You catch up whenever you like, no problem. You can watch and re-watch to your heart's content, but thank you very much for taking the time to leave a comment. We have a new Angel, the Eau Croisière, so what is that? Cruise water. I think I'm more inclined to to go to for one of the new exceptions. So without wrecking the set, let's see if I can get to this. They always do them in such massive boxes, these ones, don't they? Slightly dubious name, I think. Maybe a name that sounded better when somebody had the idea for it in French. Can you see that? It's called Naughty Fruity. Bit juvenile, but then maybe it's going to be a juvenile scent. I don't know. So names are difficult things to translate. Connotations of words don't travel well across boundaries usually. But anyway, we are going to smell it. This is always from the moment this range started. I've always been interested in new releases from them. The last few I haven't been particularly enamoured by, but I still maintain it's an interesting, strong range. When I first reviewed them, I think I wrote something along the lines that actually they represent Mugler being quite straight compared to their more normal output, but so taking familiar forms but doing them very, very well. Really great fougere, really great oriental scent. Some of you will know this packaging, quite lavish packaging, a bit of a kind of bondage feel to it when you have to sort of, not that I know anything about such things, of course. And there we are. This is what Naughty Fruity looks like. You can't say that name seriously, can you? Though, what are you wearing? Naughty Fruity. Anyway, this one comes with a brief-ish press release, so I don't think we'll be rolling around in hilarity for this one either. But oh, sorry if that made a bit of a noise. Right, Mugler. Let us see. And you've all gone quiet. Somebody mentions Morden, and the world stops messaging. Actually, let's show you the bottle as well, because I'm always on the lookout for a half-decent thumbnail. Most of the time when I'm searching for a thumbnail, I've got sort of like my eyes closed, and doing that doesn't help either. So hang on, thumbnail. Comments. Almog says, wow. What are you saying wow to? And Ashfaq says, I was giggling when I saw in the background during your Les Senteurs live cast. And I thought of that as well. I thought, oh, of course, they had to put these people right in front of that brand. And so I'm broadcasting to the whole world the entire shelving unit of that brand. But thank you very much for watching that, by the way. Did you enjoy it? I thought it was quite interesting. I thought the people maybe were a little bit too different from each other for the whole to gel quite well, but it was interesting nonetheless. Almog says, never tried the exclusive line of Mugler, sadly. Oh, you should, you really should. Check out Persolaise.com for my review of the original ones. Their Oriental, is it called Oriental Express, I think, is just stunning, really, really stunning. Should have made a naughty face. I don't know how to do naughty faces. Persolaise is very sweet, unsullied and innocent. I couldn't possibly be capable of making a naughty face. Naughty Fruity. Come on. Cesar says, first time viewer, great video. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I've just broken this bottle. No, I don't think I have. Oh, jeez. Okay, it was nice knowing you people. Okay, it's definitely fruity. I could do with a bit of naughty right now. Oh. Is this gonna... Do you know what I've just realised? I'm pretty sure I was wearing this shirt when I did what is my most watched YouTube video, where I tried you know what by you know which brand, and I think I was pulling similar cases. Oh, geez. Hang on, what was the comment that was left? Ashfaq says, couldn't they find a better name? Naughty Fruity. And Ashfaq now says, case closed, move on. What the hell is happening? I feel like my life is just rushing before my eyes. Tell my family I love them if you never see me again. Oh, okay, that is quite an intense rush to start with of really, really, really sickly fruitiness. Whoa. That's cleared the sinuses and what have we got for case of comments? Peggy says, what next? Blatant banana. Who knows? I like the last on banana scent. And please don't go away comments. It's my only connection to the world at the moment because I may be dying a slow death from naughty fruitiness overdose. How do I get these comments back up? Is it me? I'm obviously doing something wrong. Hang on. George says, oh, is the Mugler too naughty or too fruity? It's definitely not too naughty. Okay, let's try and think straight. How many of you remember Calyx from Prescriptives, which I think is now Calyx from Clinique? That was a Sophia Groisman scent, which, characteristic of all of Sophia Groisman's work, had a huge base of musks. She loved musks like galaxolide, with twists at the top. And what made Calyx distinctive was that it had a kind of tropical, oriental, exotic fruit feel to it. So things like lychee, maybe even kiwi, passion fruit, that sort of thing. But Sophia Groisman did it brilliantly, and it all worked seamlessly, and it was very wearable, and it was really the first of that sort of perfume, the kind of scents that we now consciously, subconsciously associate with shampoo. This is that kind of thing, but so far, at least on paper, it is almost as though you have kind of taken the pure concentrate of something like Calyx, or the pure concentrate of the scent that goes into some kind of generic shampoo, and amped it up with, I don't know, apples and very artificial smelling fruit. The fruit that people put into sweets that 5-year-old children love eating, and you kind of want to take them away from them because you think, no, you need to preserve your life in some shape or form and not kind of rot your teeth before you turn 10. My forehead says a lot. Yeah, the forehead is doing a lot of the work here at the moment, and I feel like my brain has actually shrunk a little bit in the last few minutes. So, I would actually be really curious to smell this on somebody. I was going to mention, when we come to doing our classic scent, I was going to mention that yesterday it was in the wonderfully privileged, fortunate position of delivering a lecture on perfume to some students at Brasenose College, part of Oxford University, for their Arts Week, which was really great. It was a wonderful event, but the reason why I'm mentioning it now was because one of the scents that we smelt was Interlude Woman from Amouage, and of course that has a weird kind of grapefruit, pineapple, kiwi, lychee opening. But even as it sort of knocks you over the head, you feel as though there's some kind of clear intent behind it. This on paper so far anyway is kind of crude. I would really want to smell this on somebody just to see if. God, I wish I had some Shalimar here with me now, just to kind of remind me how good things can be. I really need to read the press release now. Peggy says, ha, I have to try that on my skin. I'd probably like it. Well, no, if you do, seriously, let me know. And Mirka Gulan says, witam cię. Ja też cię witam. So, illicit delight. What, because it's full of calories? It's quite a neat image. I do like that image. Okay, let's see what this says. When perfumery meets the extraordinary. Yeah, the extraordinary what? The extraordinary way to kill the Facebook Live presenter? The Les Exceptions collection embodies the quintessence of the creative avant-garde genius of Mugler fragrances and reveals an extraordinary vision of fine perfumery exploring... Yes, okay, fine. Introducing the 11th creation, Naughty Fruity. The 11th said creation from the Mugler Les Exceptions collection revisits the innocent joys of childhood by delving into the fruity fragrance family. The crispy decadence of Mirabelle Plum is contrasted by the musky sensation of a blonde tobacco leaf accord for a not-so-innocent and wonderfully addictive combination. You can keep this addiction to yourself. Okay, I mean, I really don't want to be unfair. It is settling. I am curious enough to to try this on skin afterwards. I mean, if the initial burst is meant to kind of make us sit up and pay attention, it certainly did. Reading on, Mirabelle Plum holds an evocative power over all of the senses. Its bright yellow colour, which catches the eye, its textured yet delightfully plump skin, the sound of the very first bite, its juicy fruitiness that arouses the taste buds, and its soft scent that remains in the memory forever. This press release is trying really hard. Not as hard as my forehead, though. An overload of Mirabelle Plum Accord emphasises the fruit in all of its facets, round, velvety, and deliciously crisp. I would say watery rather than crisp. It's almost got a kind of lily of the valley wateriness to it. Quite aqueous, which is maybe what was making me think of lychee as well. From one temptation to another, blonde tobacco leaf accord is paired with a vibrant woody vetiver that leads this fruity delight away from the path of innocence. Take it as far away from this innocence as you can. Base notes of licorice and honey shake up the Mirabelle plum, adding a leathery hint. Did you notice the colour matches your shirt? What, this one? Kind of. As I'm looking at it in real life, this is sort of more ambery red, whereas I'm more orange. But yes, I suppose there it does. Not planned. As with each creation from Mugler Les Exceptions, Naughty Fruity is contained within a unique and luxuriously understated bottle. Oh, okay, fine. So the bottle. Oh, yeah, and in case you're wondering, it's made by Jean-Christophe, who has made all of them. So the first few were made, I think, some were just by Olivier Polge. I may be wrong on this, so you know, don't quote me. Some were made by Olivier Polge, some were made by Polge and Hérault, and then Polge, of course, went over to Chanel, and now Jean-Christophe is doing all of them himself. Available now exclusively, it says, at mugler.com and in-store and online at Harrods and Fenwick, Newcastle. Okay, why Newcastle? Should be Tangerine Trauma. Yes, actually. But, in the interests of fairness, it is settling, but, you know, to sort of say that there's prominent tobacco, that could be the kind of thing that comes out on skin, who knows, we can only hope. Whoa, that's gonna take, I haven't had a violent reaction, I think I need to do sort of a bit of, goodness me, that was a shock. That was a shock, that one. And I didn't even overspray. I think I only did 2 or 3 sprays. What could we do that would be quite different? I think I feel like I'm doing one more before we move on to the classic scent for the day. We ought to do the Tom Ford, actually, because that might be a palette cleanser. And I know that at least it will be designed to be a palette cleanser because it's an Aqua. Can you see the name there? It's the Costa Azzurra, yeah. I'm pretty sure that I reviewed the original one of this. I'd need to look up my blog, or you can look up my blog and tell me what I thought of it. From memory, I don't think I was as taken with it as some of the other of the cologne ones. Neroli Portofino is still the one that people hold up as their favourite, and I do like it. I like the stronger version that they did of the Neroli Portofino, but I like the Aqua of Portofino as well. So we kind of know what to expect from this, and I doubt very much that there's going to be any particular surprise here. But please, just let me breathe. I really felt like that Mugler stopped me from being able to breathe. That was quite something. Oh, this is already cooling me down. Oh, thank goodness for that. Whew. Seriously, it was like a punch to the stomach. The initial thing that this made me think of actually was Cool Water from Davidoff. But you know what I'm thinking? Actually, no, you haven't got a clue what I'm thinking, so I'll tell you. Ashfaq says, FYI, Sultan Pasha of Sultan Pasha Tars is here too. Well, why can't he say hello himself? Thank you very much for tuning in if you are there. This isn't actually as aqua as you might have thought, because in the base, so far anyway, what's coming through are our dear friends, those woody ambers, making their presence felt actually quite strongly. This is a kind of fresh, citrusy, cologne-y scent, but seen very much through the prism of the 80s. which is maybe why it made me think of Cool Water as well. Sort of late 70s, 80s, the territory that Tom Ford is just intent on remaining within at the moment. So actually, I am surprised. I was expecting a really, really super light, bracing, invigorating, woody scent. But it's not as light as I thought it would be. It's very sheer. It's very transparent. But it's actually got more substance to it. Rather mature, sort of elegant. This one comes with a press release. Tom Ford press releases can sometimes be good fun. So here we go. Running the risk of losing all the comments. Tom Ford. Not a very, very long one, okay? Costa Azzurra Acqua is a fresher expression of Costa Azzurra, okay? It merges cool air and refreshing waters as one. Tom Ford invites you to escape to sunlit beaches with the introduction of Costa Azzurra Acqua, a heightened version of his Italian... Oh, heightened? Well, heightened is different from fresh, isn't it? Heightened version of his Italian classic fougere fragrance Costa Azzurra, the Aqua captures those magical crosswinds of the coast where trees and greenery mingle with the salty aroma of the sand and the sea and the warmth of the sun on the body. Fine. An instant hit of exhilarating sea air mingles with the lush fragrance of macchia. Okay? Claiming ignorance here. A wild tangle of cypress, juniper and myrtle. Like warm sunlight on wet skin, lemon's citrus breath brightens the scent's core with its crisp aroma like shafts of sunlight playing on a forest floor of pine cones and needles. The liquid amber facets of Cistus Absolute drip with the crisp greenery of lentisque resinoid. Drip with the crisp... Fine, don't even go there. I'm not arguing at the press releases today. Capturing the denouement of the Costa Azzurra Acqua experience when the water that remains pools on the body's languid muscles. This may be the first press release that Tom Ford actually wrote himself. This is like a Tom Ford fantasy here. The Costa Azzurra presentation evokes the refreshing escapism of ocean blue and gold. The bottle is a frosted version of Costa Azzurra's deep blue bottle. It features a glossy, cool blue label. Yes, fine, okay. And the bottle is packaged in a white cross-hatched carton, which I haven't seen. So, okay, a lighter, more transparent fougere I would go along with. Definitely hovering in 70s, maybe veering more towards 80s territory. But not the light, bright, zingy, as somebody said at Brasenose College yesterday, zingy citrus that we might have expected. Okay, how are we doing for time? I would say it looks as though we are doing extremely well because, unless I'm mistaken, we are at the half-hour mark, which means it's time for classic scent of the day. But before I do that, once again, thank you very much to all of you who have tuned in to this episode 31 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming today live on Facebook. The video will be transferred to YouTube in due course, so if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much for doing so. Please feel free to leave a comment, ask a question, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hearts, thumbs up, smiles, etc. are always welcome. Like I said earlier, please don't forget that I will be doing a blotter update at some point to tell you how these blotters have actually developed, and also the very next episode of Love at First Scent will be tomorrow at midday UK time, and that we will try to do from YouTube, technology permitting. Joe says, I'm not sure about TF's blue bottle line. No, I think you're not alone there. Lots of people don't quite know what to make of them, but then also lots of people don't quite know what to make of the private blends. Which is the one... See, it's not very easy for me to go online when I'm doing, even though I am online, but it's not easy for me to go out and check stuff out. But my memory's failing me. Which is the Mandarin one? Is there an Amalfi Mandarin or Mandarino de Amalfi or something? I think that's probably the one that I personally reach for more often, because it expresses what I want it to express in those particular moments. You know, it really sums up summer very well for me. Schwag says, is it something suitable for very warm weather, say an average 35 degrees Celsius? I don't know. I mean, if you're in average 35 degrees Celsius, does that mean that you're actually surrounded by air conditioning all the time? If so, then, you know, it probably would work, actually, if it's very hot. It probably would work as a fougere that isn't overly overpowering, and it certainly doesn't go wrong the way of some modern fougeres where you think that they're actually just really overdoing it with the patchouli. Anyway, classic scent. And the classic scent is, when I was looking at the list of classic scents, Mandarino di Amalfi says Almog. Thank you very much. I thought there was a mandarin, and I thought it was paired with Amalfi. I was looking through the list of classic scents that I've done since I started doing classic scents on Love at First Scent, and I noticed that I don't think I've done a single one from this brand, or if I have, it may have just been the one, so I thought it's high time. And also, I featured, there's also Aqua version new release of the Mandarino, says Almog. Yes, and I think that's the one that I wear more often. This scent is one that I used at the lecture yesterday at Brasenose College. The theme for their Arts Week is skin tight, or I should say was skin tight, because I think it finishes today, maybe tomorrow. And so my lecture was very much about this idea of perfume and identity, and how perfume can express an identity in the sense that the perfumer may be trying to express an identity, and so therefore people like you and I, users of perfume, wearers of perfume, can appropriate a certain scent if we want to express a certain identity. So when we were exploring notions of femininity, I decided I had to start with Chanel No. 5. But then what became really interesting was that we skipped forward a few decades, and we actually did this. But of course, I didn't tell them what they were smelling beforehand. So this is the classic scent for the day. There is no way that you lot watching this now have not tried this perfume, so I want instant reaction straight away. This is the extrait, the parfum of number 19 from Chanel, in case you can't see that. And I was very, very, very fortunate to have actually been able to find this at a flea market in Japan, because it's a little bit vintagey, which was I was really, really fortunate to have found it. I don't want to miss comments. What have we got here? George was replying to Ashfaq, so if you're replying to him, does that mean I'm not allowed to read the comment? I think so. There's a bit of minty lavenderish feeling in it. You're replying about whether it would be okay for hot weather. Good to see you here, says George, says Misan, okay. And Peggy says Yahoo to the Chanel number 19, and Ashfaq has got loads and loads of hearts in his eyes. I'm actually going to big fan of the Fougere too, says Peggy. Yeah, I liked that too, and I thought that it was very, very unfairly dismissed and maligned. I really, really liked the Fougere. I thought it worked. Now, let me spray some, and then I will tell you what the students at Brasenose College said. Ashfaq says, thank you. So far, the only Tom Ford I liked are Black Orchid and Noir de Noir. Oh, you're replying to each other. That's fine. You carry on. Let me spray this. I will do one spray as it's the extrait, and I don't want to, waste it on paper. You know what I mean. It's not working. Okay. We've got 2 sprays then. Pop that on there, shall we? Oh, now that's a good like rush. Hear the chair creaking. That's so good. Okay, why is it good? You don't want to sort of, for the next 5 minutes, just watch me and my forehead going. Now, do you notice how I really feel like I need to go into a lower register of my voice now? What makes the opening of this so wonderful, of course, is that galbanum top note, beautifully green, but already tempered by the iris that's coming in. You get the hyacinth, the hint of the hyacinth that's going to be taking over in a short while. Peggy says bliss, right? I know it really, really is just heavenly. And it's just the harmony, and the vetiver is coming through, and I think the seamlessness with which the galbanum, hyacinth, iris, leather, vetiver all go into each other indicates that it's a vintage composition, because I think those whose views on such matters can be trusted feel that although the modern version is very, very good, the transitions from one element to the next are not quite as smooth as they used to be. Green peacefulness, says George. Yes, certainly. and I don't ever always actually think of it as a peaceful scent, but it is coming across as maybe after, Nadi Fruity. Tina says, any chance we could get our hands on your lecture on perfume and identity, a blog perhaps? That's a good question, and it's really, really kind of you to ask. But I don't know, because there was so much smelling. We really were mostly smelling, and I don't think I said anything that you couldn't very easily find out for yourselves, or that you don't already know. I'll tell you what I might do is at some stage when I get round to it, because as I said earlier, this is really, really busy time of year now, from Monday, really busy time of year because of other stuff that I do. Maybe I'll post a kind of outline of what the sort of main argument of the lecture was, with a list of some of the scents that we smelled and that I had intended to show, because we ran out of time and we didn't even get to smell all of the things that we wanted to smell. But I do have to say, it's not that I don't want to do it, but probably the main argument that I was trying to make is something that you're all on board with anyway, just by virtue of the fact that you are people who tune into videos like this and listen to geeks like me going on and on and on for hours on end about perfume. And the argument that I was making was that because perfumers can nowadays, and have been able to for quite some time, because they can make such precise olfactory expressions of their ideas, so they can say, I want a lavender that smells of A, B and C, but not of D and not of E, but I want elements F and G, because they can so carefully fine-tune and orchestrate everything that goes into a perfume. That means that they can very carefully express the ideas that they have in their head, be it an idea that's meant to represent a place or an idea that's meant to represent a person. And so these different olfactory expressions of ideas that we have, because of course that's one definition of a perfume, right? An olfactory expression of an idea, can nowadays in very, very complex ways convey different identities. And if you think about it, for most people out there, that's a bit of a novel concept, because I think for most people, perfume is still just something that you pick up and spray on yourself to smell nice, whatever that means. They don't think, oh, actually, this could express something about myself. And the perfume that I used to really get that idea going was Ashoka, the Bertrand Duchaufour fragrance for Nila Vermeer, because of the beautiful way in which it sort of goes from a kind of combative, aggressive start to a meditative end, thereby, in a gorgeous olfactory way, expressing the idea of the actual story of Ashoka, the mythical figure who went from being a bloodthirsty warrior to a person of spirituality. So I suspect you kind of know that, and maybe you don't need me to tell you that, but yeah, absolutely, I would be more than happy at some stage to put down the names of the perfumes that we were going to smell. But number 19 was really interesting, because even though I think most of the students who came along to this lecture were maybe in their first or second year, so they were all like 18, 19, 20 years old. So this is a 1971 perfume by Henri Robert, so made way, I wasn't even born, believe it or not, I wasn't born in 1971 when it was made. Not a massive seller by any means. I know some shops around the world that are grateful if they sell 2 or 3 bottles of this stuff a year. And yet, when they smelt it, and when they'd got over the initial shock of, ooh, what is that, and I don't get it, and it's a bit weird, I said to them, okay, I'm telling you now that this was made for women, so what kind of woman do you think this is meant to conjure up? And pretty much all of them pretty consistently said that this would be somebody that you don't mess with, somebody who would walk confidently into a board meeting, somebody who is in touch with who she is and is comfortable with her femininity, but also knows how to be assertive and doesn't take any nonsense from anybody. This is before I had told them anything about the perfume, apart from the fact that it was made for women. I hadn't told them that it was a Chanel, because we had gone from Chanel number 5 to number 19. I hadn't told them it was another Chanel. I hadn't even told them when it was made. And then I said to them, which also actually shows how switched on they were, I said to them, okay, so if you're telling me that this is a perfume that is coming across as assertive and independent and individualistic and no nonsense, if you had to put it in a kind of historical context, which decade do you think might have produced this perfume? And they all sort of said, oh, 70s, 80s. And I said, well, there you go. The language of perfume is something that you understand better than you thought you did, because of course it is a 1971 perfume, and in terms of the social context it ties in perfectly with what was happening in terms of the role of women at the time. Look at where we are now, by the way, and what's happening in certain parts of the world, but never mind, let's not go there now. And so, as a kind of homage to number 19 and its greatness, and almost as an expression of gratitude to Chanel for continuing to make this, including in the extrait form, classic scent of the day is Chanel number 19, because it is just genius. I mean, the vetiver is coming out a bit more now. On my skin, the vetiver comes out quite strongly, quite quickly, but it's just amazing and so instantly recognizable. Now, I missed some comments, and I don't like missing comments. Ashfaq says, if possible, can you please compare it with Dryad? Okay, good point. Certainly greeny at the top. Dryad, I think, becomes more kind of mossy, foresty. There's something much more outdoorsy, vernal, verdant about it. This is assertive. You know, it really, really annoys me when people describe this as being cold. Yes, okay, it may be a little bit distant, but what I actually find that it is formal. And I really appreciate formality, and I think that formality should have a rightful place in society. I get very, very annoyed by casual informality. I get annoyed when people who I've never ever met before, call me up from some company or something and refer to me by my first name, because I think, well, hang on, we may get to the point where you refer to me by my first name, but should we do surnames first? All of these rituals and markers, I think, are important. And that's what's wonderful about number 19, is it respects formality. That doesn't mean that it's cold or unfriendly, and I think it's wrong to think that it does. Peggy says, sorry, got to go, catch up later. Oh, no problem. Well, you can catch up later, but thank you very much for tuning in. Joe says, number 19 is for the connoisseur. I have it in EDP and EDT. Yeah, possibly, but one of the students yesterday actually loved it so much that she asked if I could spray some of the EDP on her leather jacket, and it actually smelled really, really amazing on her. So maybe she is a connoisseur in the making. Tina says, good exemplar of the theme of perfume as an expression of identity. Yeah, so you get the idea, right? But I will see if I can post some more details on the blog. Joe says, I agree, I wear number 19 when I don't want to be bothered, okay? And just feel like being left alone. It is cold and austere. Okay, well, so you go along with cold, that's fine. I think actually the student who wore it says, now I feel like a boss lady, which is quite a good description, actually. And Ashfaq says, can I see the number 19 bottle again? Sure, it's what they call the purse spray, right? So there's not much in it, logo, and it comes in this. It's only 7.5 mils of the Pure Parfum. What's a little bit annoying is that you could see how much there is in there, but it's a little bit of a job to get it out, and so I don't want to risk it. But gorgeous stuff. And how are we doing for time? Thank you for the comparison, says Ashfaq. No, not at all. Thank you for the question. It was a good question. Okay, so I think maybe we should just do one more, and I think we ought to do something from a brand that is brand new to me. Nobody has said anything about these three rather colourful bottles that are hiding here. They're from a brand called Be Soliflore. So I suppose each one is a Soliflore, and I know very little about them except for the fact that the founder of the brand who contacted me was very, very friendly in his emails and said, can I send you some samples? And I did my usual response, which is to say, yes, absolutely. I'm always on the lookout for new brands, but please be aware that I cannot guarantee to review anything that you send me, and I cannot guarantee that any review will necessarily be positive. And 99 times out of 100 people say, yeah, that's fine, we're okay with that, we'll send you some stuff. So what do you reckon? I am drawn to the colour of this one, I have to say. It's called Janvier. Little Note, Ballroom. What do we think? Nobody's saying anything. I'm going to go for this one. Because I like the colour. So I know absolutely nothing about what this is going to smell like. Any of you out there aware of them? What I can tell you is that the samples came from America. Doesn't really tell us much about what they're going to smell like. So this is going to be, we'll finish with this one. It's Janvier from Be Soliflore. I don't even know what the bottle looks like, so, but I shall find out. Oh, okay. Very, very simply attractive. I have a feeling that's probably a standard bottle, but you know, that's not a problem. What I also, I do know one more thing. I know that these are very, very affordably priced. If you go on the Be Soliflore website, you will see that, you know, relatively speaking, they don't sort of break the bank account at all. Now, so we may be in for a very pleasant surprise. They may actually be very, very good, very reasonably priced scents. Let's find out. It's quite exciting, really, trying a brand new brand for the first time. Okay. I will be brutally honest. Well, not brutally honest, I will be fairly honest. Ooh. Forehead doing its thing again. Okay, it's not naughty fruity. But it is kind of sickly, at least to start with. Okay, if it's a Soliflore, I mean, I suppose maybe they're not just going to be Soliflores. Maybe it's very sweet to start with, really, really sweet. I mean, maybe I should have taken a hint from the colour of that packaging. Real candy flossy, kind of, you know, sort of fakey vanillic sweetness, as in like vanilla ice cream that doesn't have any vanilla pods in it at all, vanilla seeds. And again, massive dose of musks. But if it's a Soliflore, I mean, I don't know, what would they say? Something like honeysuckle? Or because that can be a very, very heady scent. Sorry to say, so far it's seeming quite generic. Let's see what we're meant to get from it, because I'm getting the shampoo aisle again. Tiny bit of info I have about this one. It is apparently meant to be a soft floral that the brand calls its sweet orange rose, with top notes of velvety peach, sweet orange, succulent grape, heart notes of English rose, pink peony and raspberry leaf, and base notes of soft musk, touch of amber and cedarwood. I mean, loads of musk, I think, actually. While we're waiting it to settle, just to you know, sort of give it a fair crack of the whip, let's see what I can tell you about the brand. This is just stuff that I have taken from the website, so it's not, you know, a press release particularly that I've got. It says Craig Hook, I'm pretty sure that's the chap who emailed me, owner and creative director, founded Be Soliflore in 2016. Led by Craig, Be Soliflore has a stellar design team with executive experience with prestige beauty brands, including Tom Ford Beauty, Estee Lauder and L'Oreal, and other consumer brands such as La Durée. Our team also includes young rising stars from renowned fashion design and merchandising schools, etc., etc. Our brand ethos is to create chic, modern and elegant fragrance products under strict quality, sustainability and safety goals. Fine. Be Soliflore develops the olfactive vision, fragrance pyramids, orchestrations and working oil samples in our lab. Okay, so they reckon they have a lab. We then collaborate with a reputable US oil house for production of IFRA-compliant fragrance oil, etc., etc., manufacturer based in Los Angeles, California. Primary packaging is a collaborative effort with our design team, an Italy-based glass house with long-standing France and US operations and packaging supplier, etc., etc. So this is really very much about the company. We have a global community of followers and admirers. And then it says 2018 finalized fragrance collection and packaging designs, formalized supply chain for manufacturing of initial products, initial development of Be Soliflore community using social digital platforms. Okay, so it's a kind of company profile, really, that isn't it, rather than a press release about the company. I have no idea where they're going to be selling themselves, how they're going to be marketing themselves. If they were going for a kind of younger market with not a great deal of disposable income, because I just saw there that they're retailing in America at $65, which, you know, really isn't a huge amount nowadays in the perfume world. there is actually maybe a slightly more interesting woodiness coming through, but this is youthful, simple, simplistic, undemanding, fruity, colourful stuff. And again, it makes me think of the students at Brasenose College yesterday, because I got them to smell Petite Robe Noire, and almost all of them, apart from one, said that they found it really sticky, sweet, horrible. And I said to them, well, this is meant to be a hit with your generation, and they all just sort of pulled a face and couldn't believe it. So, just under an hour, we have done very, very well. While I start smelling some of these things, I will start saying my goodbyes as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow, YouTube, midday UK time, 7 a.m. New York time, 3 p.m. Dubai time, and we will smell some of these other things, including this one. Nobody said anything about this brand new Armani Privé that just arrived the other day. I want to unseal this with you, in front of you, tomorrow on YouTube. And we may also do the new L'Homme Idéal from Guerlain, maybe the Aqua de Parma, maybe some of Sylvain Delacourte's new vanillas, a new brand from the people who've created a different company. So there is still stuff to smell. Anyway, the Guerlain leather, the Cuir Intense. Oh yeah, I will be wearing this. But I'm just such a sucker for leather. I do lose a little bit of objectivity, but it is a lovely leather, and it's got that real polished leather feel to it as well. But it is dangerous. I wouldn't say it's sort of soft, not particularly soft. Then we had, oh God, do I really need to want to do this to myself again? Okay, Naughty Fruity is quieter, I will give it that much. But it's this wateriness. It's got that kind of melon, lychee, aqueous. No, me no like. Sorry. What was that? Oh, this is the Tom Ford. That's turned really interesting, actually. A kind of, you know how you sort of can't really bear to wear Koros anymore because it just is too much? Well, if you take away all of the negative 80s associations, you might end up with something like this. It's quite summer evening. There you go, Ashfaq. And the number 19, well, it just makes your heart beat faster. And just finally, the Be Soliflore. No, no, it's definitely not love at first scent. Sorry, but I will try the other ones in due course, and perhaps they will be better. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in, what is it? It's going to be just 20 hours, right? Because it must be about 4 p.m. now. So, midday UK time tomorrow on YouTube. Take care. Bye.